W- Welcome to the Sportscast, February 16th, 2024. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels: YouTube, Twitch, X, and Apple Podcast. You can also listen to us on your smart speaker. If you're listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. We're also on online radio. You can listen to us 24/7. It's online digital radio. And visit our website, thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net. Also, follow us on X at the Sportscast One, also Instagram, the Sportscast One, and check out our app, the Sportscast for iOS. We just had a late breaking news story. The NBA All Star Game weekend after the weekend of the Super Bowl. We're going to preview that. And join us all the way from not too warm yet, Rochester, New York. Ryan, Christa, welcome back to the Sportscast.
Santiago, it's good to be here. Post football season podcast here, but the new season of life, you might say.
Exactly, but there's no rest for the rear, Ryan. Breaking news as of the past half hour: Raiders quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo has suspended for 2 games next season for violating the PED drug policy. The Raiders are expected to release him. What are your thoughts over that?
Oh yeah, it's not good for him. The guy, I don't know, he's probably taking something to help him get some sort of competitive edge. Or, I don't, but many reasons give the Raiders more reason to release him and move on. And they start a new kind of part of their organization now that they got a new coach with Antonio Pierce. You can kind of make the call on what the direction the organization is, but not a good luck for Jimmy G's future, no matter where he lands up, which he will probably land as a backup somewhere.
Hey Ryan, if you could speak closer to the mic, that'd be great. Yeah, as reported, and Ryan just talked about it. He'll be released by the Raiders. Good reason to leave him. They were planning to anyways, with or without the drug policy violation. Raiders are possibly gonna drop the quarterback because I know they had a quarterback. They used like their backup quarterback. But what do you think? What direction should Raiders do? Obviously, there's a couple free agents out there, but they were using Aiden O'Connell this past couple of games before the season ended. They also got Brian Hoyer in the backup range room. What are your thoughts? What should the Raiders do?
Yeah, I can tell you it's not Brian Hoyer.
How about Aiden O'Connell? He beat
Yeah,
the Super Bowl champions Chiefs.
Yeah, he's fine. I think he's kind of okay for filling in the need last. I don't know if I think he's a future organization, but we'll see. Yeah, I could literally see going new. I could see him drafting quarterback early on. I could see him bringing a veteran to compete with Aiden O'Connor. It's a tough division. Obviously, you got the 2-time Super Bowl champion. Now you got Jim Harbaugh. What are the Broncos going to do with Russell Wilson? So there's a lot of pressure on the Raiders to make the right move at the quarterback position.
And keep in mind, Raiders are number 13 in the draft pick, order. So we'll see what happens. A good quarterback could fall in that range, right? Still.
Oh yeah, you got your top couple, but you could. I can always think, with the Broncos and the Raiders, you can probably get the same quarterback, 10 to 15 as you could be in the 20s. So it gives you options for teams that want to move up and all that in the draft. So we'll see what the Broncos and Raiders do with their quarterbacks to kind of compete with the Chargers and Chiefs.
And let's see what Chicago Bears do, because they're thinking about either keeping Justin Fields or maybe trading that position down.
Doesn't start until the Bears decide what they're doing with the number 1 pick and specifically Justin Fields. So
Justin Fields, big decision making in Chicago. Of course, they're number 2 in the draft order.
Given chance to draft, an unknown like Caleb Williams or Drake May, or you can kind of keep with
great quarterbacks. Tough to pass up.
Yeah, but I mean, you could draft a superstar wide receiver and Marvin Harrison, you can trade that pick to someone who really wants Caleb Williams and still get Marvin Harrison, and now you got your quarterback and your wide receiver. But if you feel like Caleb Williams is a can't miss prospect, then you got to roll the dice and so.
We'll see what Ryan Foles. Ryan, I forgot the name of the GM at Chicago. I know his name.
Ryan
But
Poles.
Ryan
I
Poles. I'm gonna say Ryan Foles.
He has your connection here, so we know him. Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Anyways, you just mentioned the Chiefs, Super Bowl champions. They beat the San Francisco 49ers last week in overtime. Ryan, Christa, this game went late. Second
Yeah,
overtime in Super Bowl history. Your thoughts over the big game?
Yeah, it was great. Competitive, close, kind of all you want in a Super Bowl.
25-22, 3-point win.
Yeah, a lot of Monday morning quarterbacks. What the 49ers should have done. They missed opportunities. 49ers, this is the second time in a row playing against the Chiefs where they feel like they're probably right on the cusp, of winning this game. They just kind of pull it out. But
you can't bet against Mahomes.
You can't. I think everybody knew once they kicked that field goal, the game was over because we all know what Patrick Mahomes does in clutch time. So it's a tough pill to swallow for 49ers and 49ers fans, but I don't think they're going anywhere. I think John Lynch is a great GM. And obviously not going to be able to keep everybody in this roster, but the moves they make to put themselves a chance to compete for Super Bowl, it's great. Purdy, McCaffrey, Samuel, Ayuk, Kittle, just a great foundation for the future for the 49ers.
Great. Should they extend Brock Purdy's contract?
You don't touch it for a little bit, Santiago. You take advantage of paying him as little money as you can right now. I think, would he like to get paid for what he's worth? Sure. But, you got to strike while the iron's hot, and you got a quarterback making pennies compared to, most quarterbacks in the NFL. It gives you a lot of flexibility to fill out your roster for the short term. What you gotta do is you gotta kind of trade your soul for the devil, in the sense of what you saw the Rams do, saw the Broncos do in payment here. You only have this quarterback for so long, or you're gonna have to pay him this amount of money for so long. So you're gonna way overpay for players to get them, under contract into San Francisco and put that, best team forward as possible. And then, you got to pay the piper and you probably have to blow it up. But you got to try to win. You got to win that first Super Bowl. You got to do it.
You got to earn it. Niners have been sniffing at it for the past couple of years. Brock Purdy looks promising, so we'll see what happens in that organization. They also, a whole other news there, they got rid of hired their defensive coordinator, Steve Wilks. Couple back calls, they say, during the Super Bowl game, but your thoughts on that, Ryan?
It was just more. I think that it's more of a fit. I think Steve Wilks is available for Kyle Shanahan when you need one after, DeMeco Ryans took the job last year.
Big hole fill.
Yeah, he filled a hole, but I don't think he was. I think it's more of a personality issue. Steve Wilks is more of, again, an old school coach. Old school coaches especially coordinators, aren't finding much success long term. Vic Fangio, I thought did a pretty good job with the Dolphins for most of the year, but
just couldn't handle the partisan and the discipline in the Dolphins organization.
Yeah, and the players didn't like that. They like the freedom. They like young. So same with Shanahan's a very young coach. Trendy. I just don't think it was probably more of a personality clash. The guy, held Mahomes to 19 points in regulation. Can't blame him. So it wasn't a reason why they lost the game.
Tough task, tough, a water glass to hold. But that's it for NFL news. Ryan, anything else before we move on to the NBA?
Yeah, we moved from the Super Bowl to the draft season. The NFL season really never ends. We got the
combine. The combine is actually in 2 weeks. Actually, in a week and a half.
Yeah, so the NFL doesn't let you sleep. That's on them. You go away from there. Then you're talking schedules. Then you got the draft. Then you got training camps, and then the season hits.
It hits hard. It's hard.
Yeah,
August is muggy, but it's good still.
yeah. I mean, it's hard to consume everything else because you just want you want to think about football all the time, and that's what they do best. But
That's what they do. Less is more. They keep it in 6 months. I don't know how the NFL does it. Let's go to the biggest weekend. NBA is trying to cut slack. NFL give us a break. They cut them in Christmas, but hey, they give them a NBA All Star Week. The best game to celebrate the great sport of basketball. Most exciting players, East versus West matchup, Ryan, this weekend. But first, before we get into Sunday night, the All Star game, there's a couple things. Festivities which start tonight. It begins in Indianapolis this time, the Midwest. They call it like the breadbasket. It is the celebrity game tonight. Team Shannon versus Stephen A. Smith, which I heard he got an ankle injury today. Team
yeah,
Shannon, Team Shannon, actually Shannon Sharp includes linebacker Micah Parsons, Connor Daly, actor Quincy Isaiah, Seattle Storm guard Joel Lee Lloyd, streamer Kai Kanat, actor Dylan Wang, YouTuber and TV host Lily Singh, singer-songwriter Sir, country singer Walker Hayes, Latin singer Angel AA. Stephen A. Smith includes actresses Jennifer Hudson, NBA champion Meta World Peace, basketball entertainer Jack Ryan, singer AJ McClain, CJ Stroud, Houston Texans quarterback, chef Kwame Owachi, Phoenix Mercury, and Natasha Cloud, content creator Tristan Jazz, two YouTubers in this game tonight, musician Adam Blackstone, and Olympic high jump champion Gianmarco Timberry. Are you going to watch tonight's celebrities game, Mr. Ryan?
yeah. Blue Cross Arena in Rochester watching our local hockey team play. So I'll see some highlights later. It's overall all-star festivities. I think they're fun. I kind of break it up. Watch highlights. I'll watch some stuff. I get by the end of the All-Star break, I'm just missing real basketball usually, so I'll probably be into a lot of college basketball this weekend. So
to be honest, Ryan, I think the biggest trophy for the weekend for an NBA All-Star is the All-Star MVP. I think that's the biggest trophy of the weekend, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's big. I mean, the All-Star game is fun. I think it's like anything. You want it to be competitive. You don't want players to kind of take it somewhat seriously. But at the end, I think Saturday night's kind of a big deal too with the skills and 3-point and dunk. It's like they extend as long as possible now, the 3-day event, but it's more important now for things like college basketball to kind of win the weekend. So.
Right. Yeah. And we'll talk about Caitlin a little bit later in the show. Let me finish this All-Star preview. Skills Challenge tomorrow night, Saturday. The Pacers will have we'll have their very own Tyrese Halliburton, and then Benedict Mathurin, then Miles Turner. And they take on teams of number 1 picks, Paolo Banchero, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama, his debut in the All-Star weekend, and All-Star Scotty Barnes, Tyrese Maxey, and Trae Young. 3-point contest, the coveted 3-point contest, defending champion, now Bucks, Dame Lillard, Malik Beasley, Jalen Brunson, Knicks star, Halliburton again, then Laurie Markton, and Donovan Mitchell, Ryan's favorite player, Karl Anthony Towns from Minnesota, and Trae Young. And then, a little bit later, Steph versus Sabrina. They go head-to-head in the 3-point shootout. Ryan, who's going to win that one?
They're both deadly. You heard to go against Steph, but Sabrina's a really fun watch. So we'll see.
Sabrina Ionescu. She is the WNBA 3-point contest. And Steph actually shot a 3-point from the locker room. No, from like the tunnel the other night.
Oh, I wasn't surprised. Yeah, he's tremendous, but like I said, I think that's more the highlight of the weekend for a lot of people, is the skills and all that. So
I still think it's the All-Star trophy, All-Star MVP trophy. Okay, now slam dunk contest. This is also another highlight there. Defending champion Mac McClung. He's from the G League. He comes back again. He said he would not sign an NBA contract. And they got Jaylen Brown from the Celtics, and Jaime Jocks from Miami Heat. Let's go. And Jacob Toppin, New York Knicks. Ryan, give me a prediction there.
I'm gonna go with the G Leaguer Max McClung. I think he's electric. I think because he's a small guy, so it makes everything look a little better. It's kind of like that Nate Robinson effect.
It does. Matt McClung has not. He's a G League player. Has not signed with the NBA team. I think he signed for a day last year. I think that was one of the requirements. I think for the Suns or something. But anyways,
yeah.
And then the All-Star game Sunday night, 8 p.m. TNT. They do have a halftime show there. The East All-Stars includes Giannis, Joel Embiid. Oh, Joel Embiid's injured. This is all. Wait, all the stars are a little bit injured. Halliburton, Lillard, Tatum, Bam from the Heat, Paulo Banchero, Celtics, Jaylen Brown, New York Knicks, Jalen Brunson, 76ers, Tyrese Maxey, Cleveland Cavaliers, Mitchell, Knicks, Julius Randle, Atlanta's Trae Young, and Toronto's Scotty Barnes. West includes LeBron James, Luka, your boy Luka, Phoenix, Durant, OKC, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nuggets, Nikola Jokic, Suns, Booker, Golden State Warriors, Stephen Curry, Lakers, Anthony Davis, Minnesota's Anthony Edwards, Clippers, Paul George, Clippers, Kawhi Leonard, and Minnesota's Karl Anthony Towns. Ryan, which of these two rosters you like?
I'm going to go with the West because obviously I can't go against Luka. So
Now, they're coming back to East versus West. In previous years, recent years, it was LeBron versus Durant or LeBron versus Steph Curry. So going back to this East-West format, I like, Ryan. It's fair. It could also measure the talent of each conferences, right?
Yeah, I think it's fun to see, I think they're just trying to find the right balance of, this fantasy team / traditional East versus West. So, again, you're just trying to find a way to make everybody motivated to make this competitive. So,
exactly. You're competitive, right? And the East will be coached by Chris Finch from Minnesota, and Milwaukee. And for the West, will be coached by Milwaukee's. Doc Rivers will coach the East. He's from the Bucks. And the West will be coached by Chris Finch from Minnesota. So looking forward to it. Doc was just hired a few weeks ago, Ryan. Now he's an all-star East coach.
I'm not trying to correct you, but it's the other way around. Chris Finch is coaching the West and Doc is coaching the East.
Yeah, East. Yeah, there you go. But how about Doc Rivers? Got hired a few weeks ago by the Bucks. Now he's a East coach, all-star coach now.
Yeah, I think I heard he gave his bonus and his ring he gets to Adrian Griffin, the former coach of the Bucks. But Doc's got some bigger issues of why he's been hired, and they've kind of tanked since he's been hired. So
yeah, that huge loss last night against against Boston last night.
Yeah, they got some issues that worked out. That's for sure.
Hey, the Bucks needed a coach. They have an all-star squad, and maybe Doc could turn things around. He hasn't been to the NBA, hasn't won a trophy since 2010, right? Or 9?
Yeah, they're in a tough position. I think he was handpicked by Giannis to be his coach, so we'll see. I'm not saying there's plenty of time for him to turn it around. It's hard to make coaching changes on the fly and having it all worked out. So maybe
that's not good. Typically, in the middle of the season, it's not a good thing.
No.
Okay, there you have it. Well, there you have it. NBA All-Star Week. A lot of action starts tonight. If you have nothing to do on Friday night, watch it. Or unless if you're Ryan, you're gonna watch your favorite Rochester third division hockey team. But watch this on TNT. Enjoy it as much as you can. Ryan, let's go into the trade deadline situation. I would say the biggest moves were the Knicks, where they acquired Bojan Bogdanovic and Alex Burks. Your thoughts over this trade?
Yeah, it's good for the Knicks. They just, unfortunately, right now it's hard to tell because they got so many other injuries that they're once they get healthy here, hopefully by the end of this month, they get Randall back and OG and Vanilla back. You can kind of see how well this trade really happened. But not to toot my team's horn, but I feel like Mavericks really won this trade deadline.
Yeah, PJ Washington
and Daniel Gafford have been killing it. They just add some size and athleticism to a team that doesn't really have a lot of that, before this. So, they're kind of perfect finds. They didn't give up a lot for him, so kudos to that. But I mean, really, I mean, the big trades that happened before the trade deadline. Siakam. I think that was huge for the Pacers.
Yeah, big one from Toronto. Also, Raptors got Spencer Dinwiddie. Also, big move right there. So, a lot of going on.
Well,
Let me point. What was that?
Dinwiddie's actually on the Pacers right now. He got released, and then
Oh,
he
that's
got bought
right.
out.
That's right. I'm reading
Wow.
last week's notes to show you missed.
Yeah.
The Hornets acquired Seth Curry, Grant Williams. That's quite interesting. OKC got Gordon Hayward, a struggling star lately. Hopefully, he could pick back his career.
Yeah, I think it's good. Thunder is such a young team and overachieving right now, and
Aren't they
kind of
number one in
bringing
the
guys.
West?
I don't think they can, but
No,
I
they're
think they're
number two right now. Young team.
yeah, very young. I mean, it's still to me, it's still the Suns when they get healthy. But
Well, yeah.
well, we'll see. I think the Thunder are ahead of schedule. They still got an amazing amount of draft equity to use, and they're going to only get better.
Well, there you have it. Look at the Western Conference standings. Minnesota's number one, then the Thunder, number three, Clippers, four, Nuggets, five, Suns, six, Pelicans, seven, Mavericks, eight, Kings, nine, Lakers, number 10, Warriors. Eastern Conference, you got the Celtics at 4, 3, and 12. The Cavs, Bucks, Knicks, 76ers, Pacers, Heat, Magic, Bulls, and Hawks. Anything surprise you with these standings?
No, because it's not really, but I think there'll be a lot of moving around, especially in the West. I think they're so tight.
It fluctuates there.
Yeah, East is pretty top heavy still. It's the Celtics when they're good, they're good. I just don't see anybody beating them right now until the Bucks can get figured out, stuff figured out. Then they'll be okay. But the Joel Embiid injury was huge. That kind of shook it up. I think the Knicks got some good stuff once they get healthy. But is it enough to compete with the Celtics? I don't think so. But you asked me who's going to win the West. I just said the Suns. But then you can make a case for a whole bunch of other teams. I really can't make a case for many other teams in the East to win the conference. But I could probably make a case for 4 or 5 different teams, even including the team like the Warriors who are barely in the playoffs and playing. I could
Klay
see
Thompson
them,
scored 34 points last night.
They're getting hot. They're turning it around at the right time. So they had definitely a really bad time there for a while. But they're definitely making the right moves.
Well, yeah, definitely early. It's still mid-season in the NBA, so a lot of things can happen. Second half, things starts boiling in March. April gets hotter, and of course, in the playoffs, there. Last night, a breaking record happened in women's basketball. Caitlin Clark breaks the NCAA women's career scoring record with a signature logo three. Ryan, history was made. She broke the record from a few years back. Your thoughts over this historic moment? Happened the first 6 minutes of the game, actually.
Yeah, she didn't wasting time. She went right after it. Yes, she's my
Kelsey Plum.
Santiago. Yeah, Kelsey
She broke
Plum
that
was
record.
right now playing, I think, with the Las Vegas Aces. But yeah, Caitlin Clark is fun to watch. She's fun last year. She was good, and then she made a name for herself in the NCAA tournament and just kind of built on it this year. Yeah, she. If anybody hasn't watched her, turn on Iowa basketball. You'll be entertained. Really changing the face of women's basketball. I think we're looking for a star like that to kind of just to be the focal point. If she transitions from college to the WNBA, I feel like she can really, she's really what the WNBA needs ASAP.
Yeah. Of course, a lot of these players are staying in college because the NIL rules, so they're able to make some more money there.
Oh,
which I heard an argument you can make more money in college basketball and women, in particular, than going to the WNBA.
Unless you're one of the top players, most of these WNBA players play once half the season in WNBA, and then they're usually overseas, so the other half to make as much money as possible. So, yeah, you're definitely right about that. So she's gonna have a different choice because this is her end of her 4th year, but because she played during COVID, she's entitled to one more year of college basketball. So we'll see what happens.
And I'm sure
there.
she'll stay.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
don't
she'll
think she will, but we'll see.
Anyways, before we go, like we said, your predictions. The Bucks had a signing yesterday. They signed Danilo Gallinari. He was a former Hawk player. Will that help out the Bucks roster?
Not really. I think he's just kind of a extra piece. He's older. He's been around.
He's 35.
Yeah, he has great size and shoot the ball. Not a bad player, but I mean, what the Bucks need, I don't think he's going to fill. So
we'll see what happens in the world of the NBA. Ryan, before you go, prediction: who's going to win this weekend, East versus West?
I'm going to take the West. Yeah, I said I can't go against Luka.
You can't go against Luka. And will the Mavericks do well this season?
Yeah, I think we said they're in 7th right now. They've won the last 16. Like I said, they kind of won the trade deadline right now, frozen some pieces. What's happening right now is Kyrie and Luka are finally playing consistently together. They still have holes on their roster. They're still not perfect, but I think they can get to 4th, 5th seed. It's important to get out of that play-in position because you're solidified in the playoff spot going forward.
And one last question, Ryan. What goes best with almonds, chocolate covered, and vegetables, almond milk, or cereal?
Oh, I like it in cereal. I like it in granola.
Oof.
Well, I don't know. I like it in yogurt. I don't know.
According to our Twitter poll, chocolate covered is winning by 63%. Second place is tied with vegetables and almond milk, and cereal is dead.
I'm not almond milk fans. I don't eat vegetables. Chocolate covered, I guess, would be what I pick out of that poll. But I like almonds in different forms. I just like to eat almonds. They're good protein.
They're good protein. Ryan, Christa, what is the best way to reach you online to talk to you? Hey, should I start watching basketball this weekend or wait a few more weeks?
I'll start watching now. And if you're not busy, you should turn on ESPN Plus and catch opening day of college baseball season for those who celebrate that.
Exactly. Ryan, what is the oldest
Mad Dog Report on Twitter.
Oh, Mad Dog Report. There you go. By the way, Kansas City's moving out of their old stadium. Did you know that?
Yeah, the Royals are building a brand new stadium in downtown. Yeah.
Kansas City Royals, and there's only a couple of more stadiums left. The old ones. I know Oakland Coliseum has been around since '66. So
yeah, so I don't know, Santiago and Mr. Viewers, I am on an epic road trip, a long many year road trip to get to all 30 baseball stadiums before my son, who's 7 years old, turned 18, and we are headed to a month around Easter time to Southern California to see the Dodgers, the Angels, and the Padres.
2 old stadiums there, Dodgers and Angels.
Yeah, excited.
Good job. There you go. Ryan has his yearly road trips to not always a sports related trip, but he does tap in there if he has a chance.
Yeah, well, I mean, how else are we going to get to Disneyland by going over to watch the Dodgers play? So
I agree.
And Angels.
I agree. You gotta go visit those stadiums. I would like to visit Dodger Stadium, and then maybe LAFC Stadium.
Yeah. So I mean, we still got to get to Lone Depot Park there, Santiago. So when we do, I'll give you a call.
Let me know. Well, anyways, you can reach us at thesportscast.net or the Sportscast1 on Twitter and Instagram. We'll be live tweeting the NBA All-Star Game this weekend. Looking forward to it. Basketball season begins. Champions League is getting warmed up. NFL's over. Not really, because there's a lot of off-season news, but hey, there's a lot more sports to watch. Baseball's coming up. Manfred's retiring in 2029. So a lot going on. Looking forward to it. We'll see if Las Vegas moves the team. We'll see if Mark Cuban sells his team this year. Hey, only time will tell. Ryan, thanks for coming on to the Sportscast.
All right. Sounds good. God bless.